Welcome to an episode of Inner Work Guides, Alchemical Gnosis, Yoga of the West. I'm your host, John H. Reed III. Let's get to it. This is a series of interviews conducted by Perseus Arcane Academy back in September of 2024. They asked some questions and I recorded my responses, and I've turned them into a series of recordings for the podcast. Enjoy. This is recording number 5, Philosophical Mercury. The question is, you mentioned the philosophical Mercury as a critical element in alchemical operations. How can one cultivate the understanding necessary to create it? So I mentioned in the last section that knowing how to break a thing down using only those constituents which are inherent within it is part of my definition of being a philosopher. So there's a maxim in alchemy, and I think this is going to be the last one that I'm going to use. And it goes, no alchemical work can be begun or brought to completion without our Mercury. Now, this enigma or conundrum seems to be a closed circle, because how can you produce this alchemical product, the philosopher's Mercury, if you don't have any to begin with? Its moniker gives the hint, and that is philosophical. A philosopher is a person who thinks, yes, but just thinking isn't going to do you any good. That thought should have brought on an understanding about the subject matter being worked on. So much so that you've gained a privileged perspective about that matter, so that you understand it in ways that the common person just does not. And in perceiving that, you know how to break down and reconstruct the base elements of the matter into a new expression. Now, it might seem like I'm always just getting to the point of giving some information and then pulling back, and well, yeah, that's on purpose. Real alchemy isn't about broadcasting stuff all over the place. It's about initiation, and it's about an unfolding of the art, a blossoming of the art in the soul of the artist. And that can't be done by chasing recipes. You have to walk the path of return. So, remember in the section concerning Spagyaric's verse alchemy, I wrote, in the alchemical work, the artist uses only those things that are found within the matter and acquired during its normal life cycle. So for plants, an example of something it encounters in the course of its normal life cycle is yeast in the air. So I'd say understanding how to break down a plant without the addition of anything foreign to its life cycle, so that you can perform an indigenous fermentation of the plant, is as much a riddle today to modern science as is still the production of the philosopher's Mercury. So, modern science is spending a lot of money to try and get quote-unquote renewable energy from plants, because they've got cellulose. Cellulose is sugar. If we can find a way to speedily break it down, open it up, get to that sugar, ferment it, controlled putrefaction, we can have fuel. The alchemical process, I don't think would, or at least the Spagyaric pseudo-alchemical process that I use, wouldn't be quick enough. You're talking a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of preparation of the matter. What modern science is looking for is something that's happening in as short as 6 hours. So, nonetheless, the method works. It releases the plant's inherent sugars, and you can do an indigenous fermentation. So, we know that it's possible to get to those things without using all the fancy technology and corrosives that laboratories do, because nature does it every day. Our job as alchemists is to do it in a controlled fashion, eliminating the propagation of deleterious growth so that the full nature of the arcanum may be experienced. So, irrespective of dealing with plants, animals, minerals, or metals, I see the philosopher's Mercury as a spagyric product made with the sole aim of being used to bring about the radical dissolution of the matter. Erstwhile adepts stated that only the philosopher's Mercury was capable of bringing about the radical dissolution of the matter without altering or destroying what they termed the matter's egg and sperm. You see, while the alchemist accesses the arcanum initially via their own esosphere, their own inner world, the job of the alchemist is to create a physical analog. Think Ark of the Covenant / quintessence for the actual habitation of the arcanum. And part of that creation is the acquiring of the necessary elements from the matter in a form that is considered unspoiled in alchemical philosophy. So no other solvent known is capable of performing the necessary radical dissolution of the matter, especially when we're talking about minerals and metals, and delivering the sperm and egg intact and capable of fecundity. Fecundity. Thank you for listening to this episode of Inner Work Guides Alchemical Gnosis, Yoga of the West. Don't forget to follow or subscribe. Visit our website at www.innergarden.org for more information about Hermetic training in practical laboratory alchemy or inner work. Write to info@innergarden.org.